Welcome in to the MISL Weekend Review. My name's Nicholas Murray, very pleased to be joined by Chris Economides. And Chris, lots to get to this week with a busy slate, but we're going to start off with the Milwaukee Wave, who took a pair of victories, including an impressive 8-0 victory against the Baltimore Blast on Saturday night. Now, the Blast were raising their championship banner, but Nick Vorberg had 14 saves, the Wave recorded 22 blocked shots. First time the Blast have been shut out at home. Somewhat surprising result, even though we expected the Wave to be competitive on the road against the Blast.
How do you say spoil the party, Nicholas? That's exactly what the Wave did. They went in there, Baltimore unfurling their championship banner for last year's championship. You know, always a great match when those two teams play. I was really surprised to see the score, with a shutout when I saw the score. But hats off to Keith Tozer and his bunch. They're off to another great start. Following up that always tough place to play in Baltimore with a very methodical 21-4 win in Reading, they're taking care of business.
Now, Milwaukee, 2 wins this weekend. St. Louis, on the other hand, had the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat to open up the re-establishment of their franchise. It was very, very solid performance, I thought, against the War on Friday night, but then they come out and the Comets really just jumped all over them early, and there was really no way back. I think there's going to be an interesting rematch, but where do you think the Ambush stand right now?
Well, first off, hats off to Andrew Haynes and the entire St. Louis Ambush organization. Tremendous crowd for the return of pro indoor soccer to St. Louis. Over 7,000 people. I was there. The atmosphere was very festive. The fans were really into it. They saw a really entertaining game with the Ambush, beating the Pennsylvania War 17-4. Then it was back to reality on Saturday night. Another really good crowd, close to 5,000. So again, kudos to the Ambush people for having back-to-back crowds of 7,000 and 5,000 people. But the Comets were in a whole different level. From the opening whistle, you could see that the Comets were, they were stung by their opening defeat to Milwaukee. They had sort of a chip on their shoulder, and quite honestly, they really took care of business. Be very curious to see how things transpire this coming Friday night when those two teams play again, to see really how St. Louis measures up.
Now, we have a regular team, a team we expected to be at the top of the standings at 3-0 in the Milwaukee Wave. We also have the Syracuse Silver Knights, who took a sweep of their I-90 rivals, the Rochester Lancers, this weekend. And these were 2 impressive victories, with Syracuse pulling away impressively in the second half of both of these games. They have the core group back with Brian O'Quinn in goal, Slavisa Uber-Pavlovic. But these new additions with Michelle Millward and the rest really seem to be making an early impact for the Silver Knights. What do you think about where they are right now, and are they going to be heading to the playoffs for the first time? It certainly seems early on as though they will be.
Well, those are 2 very impressive wins, obviously. Anytime that that you can beat your biggest rival back-to-back, in their home opener, great crowd in Syracuse on Friday night, going into an always tough building in Rochester to play on Saturday night, back-to-back victories. You got to give Tommy Tanner and his team a lot of credit. He's made some really key additions. He stuck with his guys, even though they had some failures the first 2 years. He's believed in these guys, and they're coming to the forefront for him this year so far.
Well, it's a tremendous performance by Syracuse so far. We'll get a touch on their game against Pennsylvania this Sunday in our weekend preview. But until then, for Chris, my name's Nicholas. Thanks for joining us.